It's the book of Isaiah chapter 24. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1, and it reads, Behold, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. That's spiritual because the Lord really has turned up Babylon the Great upside down, due to this whole, government shutdown. Verse 2, and it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. Because pretty much everybody's going to be affected. Even the hopeful elect, we're going to get caught up in these things. I was just listening to a particular elder. He was going into that. But the difference that we have as opposed to the world is we have hope. We trust. We know, the Lord may, try us or test us. He actually put a spirit on us through our different trials and tribulations to be able to, the thing is the true elect, which nobody knows who the real elect of the Most High is except for Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But the world the hopeful elect, the elect of the Yahweh Shem Yahushua will be different from the rest of the world. When all the world's going to hell in a handbasket, when the world's on fire, the elect is going, you're going to see a difference in their spirit. That's why Isaiah chapter 4 and 1 is so powerful. Seven women taking hold of one man. Because it's going to be something about that man that's going to draw them. You know how a woman is drawn to a dude that shit on her? Like nice guys truly do finish last. That show you how women's spirit are. It's very rare a woman will be attracted to a nice guy. That's rare. Women naturally, it's weird, what I mean? Like in the bedroom, I ain't gonna go into too much detail, but you'd be surprised. Like what was that D.L. Hughley said? He said next morning the wife trying to kiss the son, and he like, son, don't let her kiss you in the mouth. He like she was doing some strange shit. You know what I'm saying? Like women is funny as fuck for real, man. Like they're not funny at all. And then be proud though after you done did all this, right on the tip of your forehead. It says 3, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua hath spoken this word. And it's meaning it's going to come to pass. Verse 4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish. So the Lord so cold because, other countries, people suffer, but Babylon the Great is like the proudest country on the planet. And right now the whole world is watching these people in languish. The haughty, the proud people are languishing. They in a lower state. Let's look up the word language real quick. I ain't trying to make this super long, but, Spirit just jumped on me let's look up that word language. I don't know what it is exactly, but I want to see. I know it goes into pride.
Strong's H535.
Oh.
Amal.
Salakia.
Gesenius lexicon. Amal.
Salakia.
Damn. Amael.
Salakia. I mean, the haughty goes into pride, but language means it says a male or mal. It says to droop by implication, to be sick, to mourn, languish, be weak, wax feeble. So the pride, had people, with chest poked out from the women to these men. And, head held high. And now, you got individuals that got jobs that got to go to the food banks. And, so cold, I got a family. So, I was just, what was that? Like 1 week I was riding past this church and they was giving out food. So, I was homeless before. So, I don't take more than I need. But at the same time, when you got a house full of children, I get blessed here and there because they to the age they in school. So they eat in school for the most part. But at the same time, it's like you got children that don't get to eat at home. So, when school, if they miss school meals, they probably fucked up. Even Charles and White was speaking on that. I grew up around some of them. I didn't have to experience that, but I was gonna do a lesson on it because I made mention of this right when the pretty much the shutdown began. And they were saying how, part of the federal government with, pretty much these benefits is not part of SNAP, but it's part of another program where the school lunches is involved. The school lunch and the breakfast and lunch is part of the federally funded, basically what they cut off. So all it takes is for now. Again, it's looking like they literally gonna try to open it back up, but at the same time, it's nothing for the Lord to keep this shit going. The brother said keeping it going, praying, being in the spirit that you want this thing to stay locked down, but ultimately we got to realize it's the will of the Lord. I pray it never open back up, so you can see what the fuck it is like. And if it do open back up, it's not gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? Like again, it was something that they just basically made it harder for you to access through the government. If it come back to me, I'll remember. Well, as you can see, I believe DJ Trump's job was to dismantle the government because he's a businessman. So when they liquidate a company, they sell off different parts of it. Well, that's what it looked like he's doing now. They're trying to find as much money as they possible, and then, like I said, reorganize the government. So again, even if it does open back up, it's never gonna be the same. You know what I mean? Like we not in Kansas anymore. It says to be weak, to droop, to languish, to be or grow feeble. It says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, which, the scriptures tell you in the book of Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the judges, the true judges of the planet, are Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Two men of color look like Judite men, because the scriptures say if you sing me, you sing the Father, because the Father and the Son look alike, So at the end of the day, these devils that's in rulership, pretty much they have actually called themselves, calling our book theirs, which they should have never did, and they're going to get a judgment for that. You saying you ruling this country and this nation and this world by Christian values and ideologies and principles, but in actuality you don't. You got to really watch that dude DJ Trump, because he, like I said, you got people all getting all hyped up talking about them $2,000 stimulus checks. Well, by the time, if you was to even get one, which I don't believe he's gonna give you one. You got to remember, his last term, people were still waiting on a stimulus. And now, by the time you do get it, it's going to be going towards a bill or something like that. Just imagine who ain't going to qualify for this one. It was something that Charles and White said on a video. And it made me just think of the elders, because, I remember the elders made mention of, they was like, that's how you know that they know who everybody is. Like, and Charles and White, he be saying some, like a bloke cock is right twice out the day. Once in a while he'll say something, profound. But he said something. He said, at the end of the day, he said, you got to worry about them white people to the degree because they know who you are. He was like, I'm gonna play the video, but I forgot exactly how he said it, but he was like, basically, you got to take them serious because they know who you are, and that's dangerous. You know what I mean? But they also, that mean that they worried about you if they got to know who you are. Verse 26, verse 6, therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The scriptures talk about this place of mirth being pretty much let low. Verse 8, the mirth of the tabernacle ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoiceth endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. And that goes into, the different clubs, you still got people going to clubs and whatnot, but that's for those that's really like, that's going to get, they going to run to do whatever the fuck the government say, you know what I mean? Those that was breaking their neck. We want to go back and work out. We want to go back and go to clubs and baseball games and everything that lulls you to sleep, when in actuality, as much as they try to keep that shit going, everything, the admission price of basically of how, I remember brothers were saying that they went to a game and pretty much everything was digital. Everything was cashless. You had to use a credit card. I was like, damn, that's deep. Verse 9, they shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Verse 10, the point, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. And the city of confusion is Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. And it's being brought down, each and every day, like the brother titles a series of lessons is circling the drain. You know, if you trusting in this place, then that show you the Lord ain't dealing with you at all, and He wants to, pretty much preserve you for His destruction. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Hakodash, to the artists, to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth to you. I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Is this the article? To you I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning He is, He exists, or He to be. Ba'ashem, Ba'as in, Haz the Hashem His name. Yahushai meaning He saves, or He deliverer. Two names of the Most High God and Son, whose people ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ, whose true name in Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by pretty much this article. I think this is the one, but pretty much it caught my attention because it made me think of the land of confusion, because I can go through the different titles for lessons, titles for articles, the different articles, and pretty much, like the elder was even speaking on it. He was saying how they all over the place. One minute they telling you they gonna give you the full benefits. The next minute they telling you they gonna give you partial benefits. Next thing you know, they talking about they appealing it so they don't even have to pay it out. Because again, pretty much everything is broke. You got to understand how massive a beast America is, because like they were saying, just the fund SNAP by itself is like $8 billion a month. Take the time to really sit back and digest that. So they probably don't got the funds. You get what I'm saying? Like, in order, like it's mandated. The courts is telling them to come up with the money. Well, Trump saying, like, that's what it was. Pretty much, they want to go into I forgot the name of the program that actually does the school lunch. They want to go into that and basically get the funds to pay the full benefits for November. And if they do that, it's going to fuck up the school lunch program, which is actually funds all the states, not just one state. Now, maybe the states will actually pick up the bill, but who's to say? You got a lot of states that said that they gave out the funds, like California, Ohio's talking about they're going to do it, but then you got a lot of states that didn't. Like Ohio pretty much is sitting on, like, I forget how many billions of dollars from the pandemic, because they didn't give out the unemployment like all the other states did. So again, it's be careful. Like a brother titled the video, "Don't fall back to sleep, Keisha." You know what I mean? Like, like, but if it's meant for you to fall back to sleep, that's exactly what's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna play the video as opposed to reading it. Fair use, fair use.
When breaking news happens, certainly we want to be first to cover.
Partisan proposal also calls for SNAP food benefit funding until the end of September of 2026. Last weekend, those benefits expired for 42 million Americans amid the shutdown. After days of legal battling, several states, including New Jersey and Pennsylvania, paid out those benefits. Now, the USDA ordered every state to stop and undo payments as the issue continues in court.
So they literally, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they saying certain states gonna do it, but that's what I'm saying. It's more serious than what people think. First Trump said he's gonna do it. That's why he said you can never trust this motherfucker. Like the red guy, what they call him, the orange guy. He ain't really, but he's truly an Edomite, right? he's a light orange. He ain't just a fiery red. You know what I'm saying? Fucking hilarious.
Pennsylvania paid out those benefits. Now, the USDA ordered every state to stop and undo payments as the issue continues in court. Action News reporter Katie Catro has the latest.
Right now, I'm spending my last paycheck to get dinner for the week.
Jessica Robinson says she hasn't received her SNAP benefits for November and is doing everything she can to make ends meet.
The food banks is, if you don't make it in time, you don't get no food.
Pennsylvania Governor...
That's the spirit, because again, I was going to try to go to the food bank but I'm not hard up desperate yet. But at the same time, it's like because the food bank I called just to sign up so I can start going, and they gonna get back to me, and I haven't even heard from. I've called up there, they ain't even answer it. So this thing is more serious than people think. You know what I mean? And again, I feel the brother. We in unison. We in the same spirit. Keep this shit shut down. Fuck this place. Real, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck this place. Man, how about you, man? Break this place. You know what I'm saying? And just put all your faith and trust in Yahweh Shem Shah. You're going to have that mindset. You know what I mean? Like, if it's happening, that's the will of the Lord, right?
Josh Shapiro says he's fighting for Pennsylvanians. On Friday, the state began issuing SNAP payments after a lower court ruling allowed funding to move forward. But the Trump administration is now demanding that states reverse those payments, following a U.S. Supreme Court justice's decision to put a temporary hold on that ruling. In a court filing late Saturday night
for SNAP food.
I didn't mean to do that. And the thing is this, you got to remember, Ohio is a Republican state. So they telling you they're going to pay this shit out, just like they said they was going to not appeal the order and then did. But you got stupid ass people still trusting in Babylon the Great and DJ Trump and he going to make America great. You know what I mean? Got it greatly suffering. Call lawyer like Yahweh Shem Shah for the Lord and prophecy being manifested through, his chaos agent, DJ Trump.
End of September of 2026. Last weekend, those benefits
hold on that ruling. In a court filing late Saturday night, the administration said states were not authorized to issue full SNAP benefits, arguing to the extent that states decided to submit their files early, knowing that defendants had appealed the court's injunction and intended to seek a stay, and in the face of direction to the contrary, they
in Pennsylvania.
The funny part is, like they said, Trump said out of his mouth, there was a statement he made, or not him, Salakia. I don't want to, be a bearer of false news. I believe the administration made a statement that said they're not going to appeal. But isn't Trump the face of the administration? Never trust our enemy. Why do they keep doing it?
Every state until the partisan
lower court ruling. In a court filing late Saturday night, the administration said states were not authorized to issue full SNAP benefits, arguing to the extent that states decided to submit their files early, knowing that defendants had appealed the court's injunction and intended to seek a stay, and in the face of direction to the contrary, they are responsible for the consequences of that action.
And my appeal to the Trump administration is just do the right thing. Give up. You're going to lose again in court.
Pennsylvania and New Jersey officials told Action News they are monitoring the changing situation. Delaware, meanwhile, is using state funds to partially support SNAP recipients. Meanwhile, advocates like Brian Mazelis say they're doing everything they can to fill the gap.
We're stepping in where we can to provide assistance for people, taking donations for either gift cards or different food baskets.
Katie Catro reporting for Action News at 10 on PHL 17.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna play that again, but so we see where we at, right? And I don't think Babylon gonna ever be healed the way it once was. You know what I mean? Again, what this really did is depleted the food banks. They was already saying the food banks were being overran. And it's cold how the Lord he'll have me actually experience something firsthand. And that's why I do a lot of the talking I do. I'm like an eyewitness to the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, with a lot of different situations. And I'm not bragging or boasting. I just realized something. I was like, damn, because again, I stay right by a food bank. You know what I mean? And I called another one and they was like, well, you come in on such and such days, but if you need an emergency bag, we have to see some how they said. I forget how they said it. So I wasn't lucky. I wasn't in desperate need to get an emergency bag. Like if you with the Salvation Army, you could sign up if you qualify to get a bag of extra groceries for the month. So that's what I was gonna do. You know what I mean? It might be a couple packs of meat with some veggies. You know what I mean? My kids eat veggies, so you know what I mean. Like, and then like maybe some canned fruit, shit like that. Some little shit, you know, that I could stock up on for when you can't get to the store. You know what I mean? Like, so but I ain't desperate. Again, like say like the Lord, shit. We grew up poor. You know what I mean? Like even with the little money we made in the street, that one, when I was listening to a dude, he ended up doing like 15 years. He was a big time dope boy, and he was like, when you take time to think about it, he was like, he I think they gave him like 15 or 20 years. I can't remember how much he did. He wasn't no stupid guy though. He came home and him and the dudes that he was locked up with started a program for ex-offenders. He set it up through the city. So he was like, but he was a thinker. So he's like, basically, when he sat back and had all that time on his hands, he thought about it. He was like, shit, the amount of money I made in the streets, if I'd have just worked a job, I'd have been at home. And, you know what I mean? Like, so, but, sometimes it takes, they say insanity is doing the same thing, checking or looking for a different result. If you trusting in Babylon the Great, when you can clearly see that things are changing for the worse and not better, then yeah, you are a fool and you retarded. If I'm crazy, then what the fuck is you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking about those, I don't know who listens to my videos. I believe, because I don't try to sugarcoat shit. I'm not trying to worse my words. At the end of the day, I would rather somebody push me out the way of a bullet or a car hitting me as opposed to, hey, buddy, you know what I mean? Like, no, fuck that. Sometimes you got to rough me up. I was, I grew up rough. So like you got to lightweight make me say, oh, damn, you know what I mean? No, like how the elder said, you gotta with certain dogs, you can't be all friend. Hey, now the thing is with aggressive dogs, but the thing is that's why a lot of women get attacked by the dogs that they used to, like that pit bull fucked up his female owner, because he didn't really respect her. Yeah, she probably played with his nuts and not being vulgar, but I'm saying like you got women that love on them dogs, but them dogs respect authority. If you know anything about dogs. You be soft with a pit bull or one of them mastiffs, you know what I mean? A cane corso or some shit like that. That dog will fuck you up. A Doberman pinscher, and them motherfuckers are so sneaky because, like Richard Pryor said, they'll let you in, act like it's cool. You in there, and then no, you can't leave. He was like, he said he turned into Damien. You know what I mean? The hellhound. So yeah, this shit about to get the real deal Holyfield, and the Lord's not fixing it because of the fact, this is that place that's going to get judged. This is the end sample that the Lord wanted the whole earth to see, and best believe everybody watch it. You don't think them other countries laughing at this place? It's funny. That dude, Christopher Green, was talking about, oh yeah, they're doing all these different peace treaties, but yet and still they over there actually attacking Venezuela. That's what an Edomite do, just look you right in the face and lie. And only a stupid ass person will be like, this is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and starting at verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. If you in the truth, if you really, the Lord supping with you, you know what time it is. And that's why brothers is lightweight in the spirit of, because we all know how it is. I've been weak in the spirit, you know what I'm saying? So I wish I had somebody talking to me at that time, but I was meant to go through what I went through. That's why it happened the way it happened. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But at the same time, as a grown-ass man, I learned to be, I know me, you know what I'm saying? And the Lord can do some shit to fuck your head up, but I know me. That's why I say what I say. I'd rather go and bite the brick, you know what I mean? Shoot me in the face type shit. Like real shit. Like, I mean, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to live like this. Like the elder said, like, I'm not going to do it. So if the elder can say it, I can say it too. I know what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. I done went through all this shit, and these people hate me, and then I'm going to just, I wouldn't respect nobody like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bitch, that's what you bitch ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, and nobody want to be called no bitch. I heard that's really disrespectful. Well, no, they say, that, that 4-letter S word, suck my, they said that's the most disrespectful thing you could do. I remember Fat Joe said that. He said, niggas in New York don't play like that. They'll try to kill you over that. And that makes sense, too, because when you take time to think about it, because in New York, they talk about gods, we gods. New York is different. I've never been. But my daddy, like, I got family up there. So my daddy used to always be like, it's funny. Like, and he always used to say how Cleveland and New York is the big apple and Cleveland is the little apple. And that's why Cleveland downtown is based off of New York. So that's why they made the different movies that's based on New York and Cleveland. The last movie they made here was what? Metropolis or Superman, which that looked stupid. I don't watch stupid superhero movies. I watch the what I mean? That shit looked like maybe some kids watch that one. I don't know. Salakia for the rambling. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai so cometh as a thief in the night. Well, it's a thief in the night for those that aren't watching. For those that's watching or the Lord dealing with, we gonna be aware. Again, I hope they never open this shit back up either. You know what I mean? Keep it going. But at the same time, I can see the Lord opening it back up, but because enough damage been done. Watch how many people had to lose benefits. I'm telling you something. Like when they sent me the letter, I said, nigga, this was pre-planned. Like, hold up. How you gonna, they like, and I don't think we getting this much food stamps because they was like, when you call, they like, you might not get it. Although you seeing these different articles talking about, oh yeah, it's delayed and all this old shit. Like the elder brother was saying, yeah, you might get it, but it ain't gonna be when you usually get it. There's people right now still ain't got their stamps, man. Which, I mean, again, I say fuck them stamps and all that. It bring judgment. Now, I don't know if I'm ready or if the Lord, we all got to be ready for it, I think a lot of us ready though, because again, a lot of brothers was in the spirit talking about fuck this shit, shut it down, and it's been shut down the longest ever. Call Lord for when they shall say for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them. And they talk about everything about to get better because they about to open it back up. But nah, because like I said, from what I found out, they said pretty much it's only gonna be funded to January. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that they should overtake you as a thief. Because we got the eye salve. We see the light. These people grope in darkness. They don't know what the fuck going on. I was hearing the elder talking about he's getting fatigued of hearing about the food stamps. I'm getting fatigued about hearing about them too. What's the nigga? What's the dude's name? What's that? Not Pinky in the Brain, but I can't think of their name. Two goofy ass little cartoon character dudes. But them two dudes, like I say again, like they focused on the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you focused on trying to. I learned something recently. You can't make no man do nothing. You know what I mean? Like only the Lord can. You could try to have the best intentions in the world for somebody, but at the same time, ain't nobody no children. And like I said, again, let the Lord, the Lord gonna sort this out. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much your intentions might be the best thing, you know what I mean? And that's the cold part about it. Like certain brothers got the spirit to go ahead and endure that. I got a spirit. If I see something and it ain't right, or, I'm gonna say something. Now, maybe I did overstep my bounds. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I do know this. The Lord ain't playing with nobody. Ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of the darkness, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And if you are considered, a watchman of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you going to do your job. You ain't going to have to be forced to do your job. You going to do it, because you going to fear. I fear the Heavenly Father, man. Like, I can imagine, he never told me what he was going to do. He never showed me what he was going to do. But I was so terrified. And this was just one of the Alahayim. I was like, oh, my God. And it's so crazy because the dream or the vision I had, one day brothers don't speak on certain stuff. But one day when I was still part of the camp, brothers started speaking about they had a vision of the angel. The head brother said it. And there was another brother said, and I was like, damn, because when they said it, they said something similar to what I said. And I was like, that's the spirit. It was like they just knew, they felt immense power and they was afraid. So just imagine how much more so when Yahweh Shah come back. He not coming to give you no hug. I remember the one elder brother, well, I can't say your elder brother. He don't even call himself a prophet. That's how humble that man is. Like, you don't get that all the time. And that brother a prophet though. He always having dreams and whatnot. He was like, he had a dream. He was one of the last ones to get saved. I'll never forget this. He said, when Yahweh Shah, he saw Yahweh Shah, he said he was scared to even look at him because he was just so angry. He was so angry he could feel his anger. Imagine that. So no, let me slip up out of that. Let me get, you know what I mean? Like, I remember one time we was fighting in the bathroom, right? They playing, and it was one dude that I fucked with, you know, like that's my dude, and he hated or he couldn't stand this one dude. And some kind of way they try to play, but they really trying to fuck up the one dude. Now, I was cool with both of them. Tell me why the Lord judged me so much, because, long story short, it kind of went from they trying to get him, and some kind of way I got slipped up in it. I'll never forget dude's name. His name was Philip. I'll never forget. For whatever reason, the dude, his name, the other dude, I said, I ain't gonna say his name, but long story short, he did not like this dude for whatever reason. So, like I say, and they set it up, they was gonna get him, and some kind of way I got to the point where they trying to catch him in the point where they could punch him, where he could punch him in the face. Some kind of way, it went, he slipped up out of it, and I got caught up in the situation, and I had to eat the punch in the face. And that was the one day I'll never forget. He split my shit, right? Now, I always been little, right? So at that time, I probably like 5 feet. And this dude, these was like dudes that was already 5'6" type shit. Like these dudes, and they 6 feet now. So it's like, but I always was little, but I was always with the little rough dude. So it's like, it was funny though, but it wasn't funny that day. It's funny now that I look back at it, because, you know, we didn't get an opportunity to make our school lunches that much. And that particular day, I made a school lunch. But I couldn't eat the motherfucker because my lip was all like halfway besides my head. Laura funny though. Yeah. So I brought that up because I was talking about getting out the way and shit. Like, like I got caught up in that. I don't want no parts of it because, you know, but the way that they did it, it wasn't no way to get up out of the way. Unless you know, and even the way that they did it, even if you would have blocked, like we up against a bathroom wall. You know how they was made back then with the tile and the linoleum and whatnot. He probably would have hit it, and I'm little. He'd have probably hit it and blocked, and I'd have hit my head off the wall. It was, you know. So my point is this, yeah, like seek Yahweh Shem Shah and stay out these motherfucking people way, because at the end of the day, the Lord ain't playing. It's the book of Jeremiah. I'm gonna end it with this. You know, people waiting for this place to bounce back. They really keeping their trust in this place. What's that? Scriptures talk about cursed be the man that put his confidence in man, roughly paraphrased. You know, I know it's in Psalms 116 or something like that. You know, cursed be the man that trusteth in man. DJ Trump literally showing you, the nigga said they wasn't going to appeal it and they wouldn't appealed it. So again, I don't even see us getting the stamps this month. You know, I really don't. They might give them to us next month. They ain't said nothing about no back pay or nothing. They ain't saying shit. They just said, we give it to them, now we taking it back, and all the state's supposed to take it back. What if they do some shit where they gave it to you, you just spent it, and now they say you owe? What about if they do that? You get what I'm saying? Like, this shit, a lot of bullshit about to come out of this. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 51. And I'm going to start at verse 6, and it reads, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So ultimately we're gonna see the Lord, you know, pretty much pelt this place. You know, the world's gonna see this place pelted with those ICBMs. You know, and the smoke is gonna go up to the sky, to the heavens. The scriptures talk about that in Revelation chapter 18. Talks about how her judgment, her sins have reached onto the heavens. So her judgment gonna reach onto the heavens as well. So yeah. Salakia for the rambling. Yeah, that caught my attention again. This is truly the place of confusion, and the only thing that makes sense is the scriptures. You know, only thing that makes sense is Yahweh Shem Yahshua. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo-Hebrew is Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua. You will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, I want to give all honor, I want to give all glory to call Allah like Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem. That's the honors to the elders, to the apostles, who taught me this truth, peace, and salutations to the Akim. across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwata to listening and learning, Lord, willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, with whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord, willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharallah, and walk like the world.